What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to bring you a weekly recap of probably the most difficult training that we've had thus far in the marathon prep. Another 50 miles in the book and over 2,000 feet of elevation gain. First things first, shout out to all the OG subscribers. Shout out to all the new subscribers since the last video. And if you are new here, my name is Q. I'm basically trying to be your favorite running enthusiast, joking, not joking. But seriously, I'm just here to bring love, laughter, fun, and motivation through running. And hopefully you find some value in that. And if I become your favorite running enthusiast, well, that's just the cherry on top at the end of the day. So thank you for being here. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Show your boy some love. I say it all the time on the channel. I'm a working dude, normal dude like anybody else, but I do my own videos, you know, shoot, edit, all that great stuff. So when you support the channel, it really means a lot to me and my small team. So thank you. All right, guys, jumping right into it. A little bit of a different video this week. We are basically just doing a video recapping all of the training that I had. Last week was definitely challenging for me. I had to travel from Houston to Seattle for a business trip. And if you know me by now, you know, just because I'm traveling for business does not mean I'm not gonna put this work in, especially because we are in full prep right now. So for those new to the channel, I am running a race October 12th in Wichita, Kansas, and I am ultimately prepping for the Chevron Houston Marathon, my very first full marathon, 26.2 glorious miles that await for me. And I am trying to run a sub 3-hour marathon my first time out. I know, big feat. It's very popular on the internet right now, but this is something that I am dedicated to. I've been grinding towards all year, and things are really coming into fruition for me. So I just wanted to do a little something different as far as a weekly recap. You know, minimum 50 miles on the week. That's where we are right now. That's the standard. I think that I'll probably stay there for quite some time. The only variation that I should have is when I go to Wichita. Or prepping to Wichita, I'll probably run a little bit less before the race. But for the most part, minimum 50 miles, that's the standard that we are at right now. Never could I have imagined that I'd say, hey, listen, I'm running 50 miles at a minimum for a week for any particular reason. But that's what's so beautiful about the marathon journey. It just takes you outside of your comfort zone. It takes you to a place beyond, you know, your wildest imagination. And so, yeah, if you'd have told me 2 years ago that I'd be doing something like this, I'd say you're crazy, you're nuts. But hey, here we are. So let's just jump right into the training. A lot of challenges running in Seattle. Very much different than Houston. So if you've never been to Houston, you probably don't know this. Houston is known for heat, humidity. Sure, it's fast and flat, but you basically feel like you're running with one lung. No offense to anybody out there who may have one lung, seriously, but it literally feels like you're running with one lung. It is just exhausting at best. You're pouring sweat, your body is overheating, overworking all the time. So for us Houstonians and anybody who pretty much lives in the southeast part of the country, you know what I'm talking about. And we look forward to running in cooler temperatures. So going to Seattle, while it did provide a little bit of a challenge, it was also very ideal as far as climate. The Pacific Northwest during this time of the year is known for ideal temperatures. So you're talking about 50 to 60 degrees in the morning. And so for somebody like me that's coming from Houston, that is ideal. So there were 3 big challenges that I had during this training week. One being that I had to travel for work, right? Obviously, and I had to actually do a ton of work while I was there. But 2 was the time change. So here in Houston, we're in the Central Time Zone, and in Seattle, they're in the Pacific Northwest, so they're in the Pacific Time Zone. So that is a variation of 2 hours. So if you gathered anything from this channel by now, you know that I wake up super early for training, and I always talk about controlling the controllables. So here in the Central Time Zone, there's nothing for me to wake up at 4 a.m. So you can imagine my internal clock in the Pacific Northwest is like, hey, it's 4 a.m. No, it's actually 2 a.m. So having to balance that odd sleep schedule and changing my regimen just a little bit, just slightly, also created a challenge. And the 3rd challenge was the elevation. I look forward to the elevation for one reason and one reason only. Well, actually kind of 2 reasons. 1, I thought it would look epic on Strava. But 2, I knew that it would make me that much more of a stronger runner. See, here in Houston, we do not have elevation. like they do in the Pacific Northwest, particularly in Washington. So the rolling hills provided me a great opportunity to just hone in on my training and just become that much better of an endurance athlete. Look, I don't know anyone who just loves rolling hills. It is a unique challenge in of itself, if I can speak today, but the elevation is kind of not so bad when you're dealing with ideal temperatures, right? So give me 50 degrees and 1,000 feet of elevation gain in a run versus a flat course and it being 85 degrees with 90% humidity. I mean, that's a no-brainer, at least for me. So I welcome the rolling hills. Sure, the rolling hills make you work a little bit harder. It makes you focus on cadence a little bit more. It makes you focus on breathing a little bit more. But all in all, after training in it, I feel phenomenal. There wasn't a time when I finished a training session and I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. My legs are dead or any of that crazy stuff. All right, let's jump straight into the workouts and kind of break down how things went. I don't know about you all, but when I fly, my legs tend to swell. So I made sure to bring my compression socks and my compression boots with me to kind of circumvent any issues that I would have with my legs. So when I got there on Monday, I did not do any running. I just wanted to kind of relax, kind of stretch, do some mobility work, just to kind of get me primed for the next day. Now, when I typically take a day off from training and I train the next day, I typically have a lot more snap, a lot more pop in my legs. And I knew that I would set myself up for success, given that I was going to be running in rolling hills. And that's exactly what happened. So our very first run was 9 miles. I did it at a 6:31 pace, as you can see here. And my average heart rate was 155 beats per minute. And we had a really nice elevation gain, as you can see. So even at such a fast pace and rolling hills, the ideal temperatures really helped me out. I wasn't gasping for air. I wasn't feeling like my body was going to overheat, none of those things. So it just made for a really good running session. And I was very, very proud of how I performed. After the 9-mile run, I ended up doing a cool down at 0.62 miles, 8:40 pace, nothing crazy. Just wanted to get back to the hotel and kind of get ready for the day. Following a relatively big effort for me at a 6:31 pace, 9 miles, I decided to do more of an easy recovery run. So I did 9.7 miles and did that at an 8:20 pace. But here is the interesting thing. My heart rate was 114 beats per minute average, right? Now, I know you may be thinking, dang, dude, like, so not only did you run 9 miles in a rolling hills, but you had a decent elevation gain, a relatively decent easy pace, and your average heart rate was 114 beats per minute. I know. Listen, I'm telling you, climate matters. So even though I was in rolling hills and I had to work a little bit for some of the miles, at the end of the day, climate is king, okay? If you have ideal temperatures, and you have ideal weather, and you have crisp, clean air, I promise you, you will surprise yourself when it comes to running. I just cannot reiterate this enough. Coming from hot Houston, Texas, I loved this weather. I'm pretty sure that y'all have heard work smarter, not harder, okay? Now be real. Sometimes I struggle with working smarter and not harder, but I made sure to listen to my body during this week of training. And so on the third session, I ended up doing some what I coined as belt work, okay? So belt work, hamster wheel work, it's the treadmill, people, all right? Now, is it monotonous? Sure. Does it get boring? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, when you're out there running those 26.2 glorious miles and you end up in no man's land, what are you going to do, right? It's going to get monotonous. It's going to get tedious. It's going to get technical. It's going to get hard. And so if you don't build up the mental capabilities or mental stamina to be able to endure something like running on a treadmill for an hour, I almost guarantee you that running long distances during races and you end up in a space where there is no one cheering for you, it can start to collapse on you at any given moment. So I make sure to put myself through these tedious, monotonous, boring workouts like running on the treadmill where there's no sightseeing, there's no scenery, it's just you and a wall or a mirror or a window. As you can see, I ran 8.71 miles at a 6:53 pace and I kept my average heart rate at 129 beats per minute. I always gotta throw this out there as a little caveat. When you run in controlled environments like indoors on a treadmill, your heart rate or average heart rate has a chance of being significantly lower than if you ran the same type of mileage and pace outdoors, okay? So yes, my average heart rate was 129 beats per minute, but that's because I was in a controlled environment, the temperatures were ideal on the inside, I was running on a belt, etc., etc., etc. That's not to take away anything from what I did, but that's just to kind of give you some insight as to how and why my average heart rate was 129 beats per minute for a sub 7 pace. Now, like any true tourist, I did my research on Seattle, and I learned that there's a place called Discovery Park that is basically a must-see. So what did I do like any good tourist? I visited Discovery Park. Okay, so Discovery Park is an interesting place. It has a trail that can be somewhat technical, but you can also run on it too if you feel so inclined. So there was me and one other dude out there running. Everyone else was out there walking. And I got the occasional stare like, you're nuts, bro. But at the end of the day, it all went good and I had a phenomenal time. The elevation out there was intense. There was some crazy grades out there for sure. Discovery Park is known for its rolling hills. And essentially what it is a trail that is somewhat technical and it takes you down to the beach. Now, you want to talk about all the great vibes, serenity, calm, whatever adjective you can drum up, that's what this place was. It was absolutely incredible. So I ran through the hills, struggling and all, and I got down to the beach, did a little sightseeing, and I ran back. So I ended up doing 4.5 miles, had a 9:12 pace, and my average heart rate was 102. Again, crazy, right? I know. The elevation out there was insane, as you can see on the stats, but being able to keep such a low heart rate in part was because the temperatures were so great. So yeah, I mean, I was going relatively slow at 9+ minutes per mile and great temperatures. So 102 beats per minute is pretty regular for me, right? If you're ever in Seattle, make sure you check out Discovery Park. I promise you will enjoy it. Now, very similarly to going to Seattle, coming back to Houston, I did not do any training on the day that I flew back. In part because I had a really big session on Saturday, which is my dedicated long run day. Now, people run their long runs on Sundays, some people run in the middle of the week. I'm one of those Saturday dudes. It's something about the Saturday long run that just really sets a really good vibe for me. So I like to run my long run with the Good Guys Run Club here in Houston, Texas. Shout out to the Good Guys Run Club, the best run club in the city. The Good Guys Run Club runs a minimum of 10 miles on Saturday. We have a bunch of dudes that are in prep for different races, marathons, half marathons that are coming up. So the minimum is 10, but a lot of times people run 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 20, what have you. So on this particular Saturday, I told myself prior to going that I was gonna run 15. I got there and said I was gonna run 16. And as you would know, someone came up, talked to me, shout out to Ian, and he said he was running 18. So I said, I'm running 18 too. Now, 18 miles is the most that I've done during this training block. So I was looking forward to it. And he told me that he was basically gonna run a progressive workout or have a progressive workout. And what that essentially means is you start out slower and you end up going a little faster. I know he wanted to touch down into the 620s. I knew I probably wouldn't go that low, but I definitely wanted to run alongside him because he is way better of a runner than me. And no shade to anyone and how they do their training, but for me personally, I want to run with people who are faster than me, better than me, more knowledgeable than me, etc. It's only going to make me better. I don't want to be in a space of comfortability with just running with people who are along the lines of my abilities, right? So I want to get put in the furnace, I want to get put in the fire a little bit, and I want to test my legs against people that really know what they're doing and that are really good in the space. So shout out to Ian for a great workout, and it went phenomenally well. Did I get dropped during the run? Sure, I did, but did I also get picked up by two studs out there as well? Absolutely, shout out Gio and Gustavo. We brought it in up the rear, so it was all good. Look, it was one of those typical Houston mornings, muggy, hot, humid, all those great things. No excuses, just stating the obvious. But yeah, I got it in, got 18 miles in at a 7:04 pace, total time of 2 hours and 7 minutes, and I kept my average heart rate at 154 beats per minute. As you can see, started out really slow, got a little fast, and I just wanted to maintain a range of 630 to 650 without feeling like that I was trying hard. And it didn't feel like I was trying hard at all. And that is a testament to my fitness and where I am going and how far I've come on this marathon prep and in this endurance athlete journey. So I was very, very pleased with this result. And afterwards, my legs felt fine. I wasn't tired, wasn't exhausted, legs weren't heavy. I even went go-kart racing, playing laser tag and putt-putt and stuff afterwards. So I was totally fine. And that is a really good feeling for me, because it just lets me know that I have so much more in the legs, you know, for the 26.2. It's huge for me to know that I'm able to run that distance and not have heavy legs. That just re-encourages me and lets me know that I am going to be just fine to run the 26.2 miles. So I ran 50.56 miles for the week and hit 2,041 feet in elevation, and my legs feel phenomenal. I'm healthy, I'm able-bodied, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. So all is well, and I'm happy about that. The key takeaways from this training week was adaptation. Listen, we have to adapt at all costs when it comes to marathon prepping, endurance races, all this great stuff, right? If we don't learn to adapt in training, how are we going to adapt come race day? Now, sure, you can't mimic race day, but you can get very, very close, right? One thing we don't want is we don't want to get to race day and not have induced any real challenges during our training, because we could hit the wall very fast, very quick in the race and not have the mental or physical ability to bounce back. And so we do not want to deal with that. And so adaptation or adapting in training and the prep is so crucial. I just know that adapting to the training in Seattle is going to be paramount for me, and it's going to pay dividends when it comes to race day. Adaptation is way more important than any Strava stats. It's way more important than anything we post on the gram. At the end of the day, if you put in the work and you dedicate yourself to the craft, good things will happen. It's just consistency, adapting, you know, just testing yourself, testing your legs, testing your mental capabilities is all important in the prep. Enough of me yapping. I hope that I brought you some value. Thank you for being a part of my journey. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for sticking around to the video up until this point. If you're new here, you feel so inclined to support a running enthusiast who's a family man and who is dedicating himself to doing some extraordinary things and putting out great positive energy into the world, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you anything, and I would certainly appreciate it, you know, especially coming from a person who does the editing and, you know, putting up these videos and all that great stuff. I'm getting into my creative bag, as they say. So, but listen, no, seriously, thank you. Like the video, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Continue to love each other, continue to be happy, continue to laugh, continue to find joy in life, continue to motivate one another. And until next time, I'm out.